The Supreme Court just settled a question that affects thousands of people on probation every year. If you disappear while under court supervision, can the government simply extend your probation term to punish you for the time you were gone? The answer in an 8-1 decision is no. The ruling protects defendants from a legal trap where they could be punished for breaking probation rules during a period the government claims they were not actually on probation, even though her probation should have ended a year earlier.